A Quiet Place is directed by and most notably starring John Krasinski, and it's basically a film about a family living in a post-apocalyptic world where if you make even the smallest sound, you'll have aliens hunting you down and killing you. And they have to go through really quiet paths when they're going outside to either search for goods or to grow their farm and everything like that. And basically just to do their daily activities. They can only speak through sign language even inside their own house, and they have to be very careful with each move they make. So there is a lot of tension here. There's a lot of suspense, and it constantly keeps you on edge with such a great concept here. This film is deeply unsettling just from the opening scene alone where they're going through this grocery store trying to find a bunch of supplies and medication while being very cautious just to avoid even making the smallest noise. And you know there's something going on. Just straight from the gun, you know that something will happen to them if they make even the smallest sound. Not only because of how cautious they're being, but also because of the brilliant acting being portrayed by John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. But also some great child acting performances here. All these actors are brilliant. They have so much they're asked to do here as actors. Like they have to communicate their entire personality and portray it just through sign language and their facial expression, the cadence of it. And that's all they are given. It's a lot to ask for if you haven't been mute your whole life, if you haven't been communicating with sign language already. And all of the actors manage to portray their characters and their personalities so well that you really care for them. They bring so much emotional weight to the characters, and they make them feel so realistic in their portrayal of them. And a lot of the screenplay writing here is very clever too, in the sense of how it portrays the situation pretty realistically. Sometimes it does get a little bit cliched, but for the most part, these characters are brilliant. So you really do care for them as these things are going on, and it really raises the suspense and the stakes of the film. Easily the best thing about this film is it's constantly building tension, it's constantly building suspense and keeping you on edge. It is so fast paced, it doesn't even give you a single moment to breathe. Whether they are literally in the safest place they could possibly be, at their home, playing Monopoly with cotton game pieces, like you still feel on edge. You're like, don't make a noise, don't screw this up. And it's just so unsettling. The atmosphere is incredible here. The way it's set up with complete silence and sometimes a sound design where they emphasize little noises, or even like when they're zooming in on the alien's ear as they emphasize a really small noise that he hears really well but all the humans don't, and then they bring it back to the human perspective. It's so brilliant, and it's a great way to build suspense. The only moments of the film that really took me out of it were, I would say, the two false jump scares they used in the film. They were really cliched, like an animal pops out when you're expecting a monster to jump in and kill them. It's so predictable, and I think it could have been taken out entirely and just cut to the animal being killed by the alien. That would have been a much more effective way to build the suspense and build tension. There's also a thing where I've kind of gotten used to being able to feel out the length of a runtime with the film and know exactly how far I am into it. But I thought I was 30 minutes into the film, but when I checked, I was already 50 minutes in. I was just blown away by that. Like, shoot, we're already into the final act? This is crazy. This one was so fast paced. I cannot stress that enough. And there was also another issue I had, which was a plot point with the nail and how people kept stepping over it, particularly the mother herself. And I just questioned that logically because it was like, if that nail was there in the first place, how did you not notice it and go around it? But also, why were you leaving the nail there? How did it get there in the first place? There was nothing about it that logically made sense, and it could have been much better if she had, for say, dropped something that she was holding. And that could have been a much better setup for suspense, for a potential alien attack sequence like that. But that's really it. They're really just some minor nitpicks. This is a brilliant film. It's honestly my favorite PG-13 horror since Insidious, and I'm giving A Quiet Place a solid A. I'm looking forward to Quiet Place Part 2. I really hope that they can just make it a good horror film. I just want to see a good horror film this year in general. And as always, I hope you enjoyed this review. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. And I will see you in the next video.